All right, guys. Couldn't pass up the opportunity on this great day to show you this car. This is my drift build. 1993 Lexus SC400. That's a 1UZ FE. American version. Let me tell you a story about this car. So one day I was couch surfing, van lifing, stopping in Fort Wayne at Rich Hoppy's house. You'll meet him eventually on this channel. And popped a marketplace and came across this car for $1,000. Me not knowing anything about the car, first thing I do is go take a look at it. The guy says it was having transmission issues. Really what it was is he put it in reverse and it didn't go anywhere. So then he put it back in drive and it went forward, and then he put it in reverse again and it went in reverse. So just a little mishap. Me not knowing anything about these cars, right away I said, oh, transmission issue, it's an automatic, we'll just swap a manual in it, call it good. And you know, keep tearing up the streets. Well, little did I know that the 1UZs were absolutely no manual transmissions. So it's not as easy as just swapping it out, swapping it and doing a manual swap, because I've had like 6 or 7 240 S13s and I've manual swapped every single one of them pretty much. So I thought it was going to be like relatively the same thing, especially with the SC300s coming in manual, whatever, you get it. And so the guy only won $1,000, but then he said he was looking for a early 70s Honda motorcycle, and I just happened to buy one from a guy a few months before that, and I just sat, no title, nothing. I actually bought the bike for $200, and so we agreed on the bike and $400 for this car. So I drove it all over the place, Texas, back up to Michigan, all over Indiana, all over Michigan, some trips to Illinois. Never once had the issue with an automatic transmission, but I got sick of being lame and having an automatic transmission because I've always had the manual S13s, so like clutch kicks and all that stuff were just a lot better, you know? And so the day came and I tore it all apart, pulled motor trans and did the manual swap, and I ended up doing the CD009 transmission from a Nissan 350Z. So it's a 6-speed manual. I didn't go with everything Collins. I think I just did the Collins adapter plate, and then everything else, the flywheel, the clutch, the rest of the 6-speed swap I actually bought from the Pop Shop. Or did I get I may have even gotten the adapter plate from the Pop Shop. Pursuit of Perfection. Guy out in California, Silvio Vert, super cool guy, super intelligent on the 1UZ swaps. But I ordered that whole kit, got myself an Exetti Stage 2 clutch kit, and so I didn't, because I didn't want to cut the bell housing. And then I had a local shop here build me a one-piece drive shaft, welded the diff, dual handbrake or dual rear calipers, one with one set up for the hydro handbrake. Man, I just ordered everything at once. It had coilovers already on it. This actually came with a set of Koenig wheels, and then some guy traded me for these TE37s. No idea why he would want the Koenigs over these wheels, but whatever, these wheels are super light, aluminum, ready to rock and roll. I love the looks of them. Dual rear calipers, I'll show you those real quick. We got that caliper there, and then that one there. It's like a wishbone mount. And then those are just connected to that line's connected straight to my hydro handbrake, and then the other one's connected to my normal brakes. So the interior is completely gutted. It's kind of just filled up with parts right now because it has parts that I want to make sure that stay good. Yep, so 6-speed manual. out of a CD009. I bought that from my buddy Dylan Denzo out of Wisconsin. Third does grind a little bit, so it's something I'm meant to look for in the future to fix. And then hydro handbrake. Actually, these are actually bike grips off my old bike, my BMX bike, the Vans Colt ones. Then I got electric dual fans and electric power steering. Like I said, electric power steering. This is actually out of a Volvo S60, I think a 2006. But the last time I drove this car, this is the reason why it's sitting in the barn neglected, is this reservoir actually popped completely off and blew power steering fluid everywhere. So I got one from my buddy Jeremy Cott. He's also a car guy out of Wisconsin, I want to say, like northern Wisconsin. Professional BMX rider, like legend. I just bought two off from him that have, the reservoir is actually like the whole system, so it has a cap on there and everything. I can get rid of this weird looking bolt I use as a plug and run that setup. I'm gonna move it forward, go to a different mount, because soon this will be a turbo setup as well. But this is the car I've been talking about. I've done everything as clean as I could. Basically stripped it down to be simplicity, especially for just being at the track whenever I get time to actually go get seat time. Hopefully next year. This year's pretty booked. I do whip this thing out here on the skid pad a little bit here and there. We'll get some clips of those eventually. It's kind of blocked in right now, so. But we got strut brace here, fully deleted pulleys, everything besides the alternator. And you can't really see it too well down there, but the Pop Shop sells an alternator bracket, so it allows you just to run the alternator by itself on the crank if you have electric power steering. You know, big aluminum radiator, dual electric fans, new plugs, valve cover gaskets, intake manifold gaskets, everything like that. One thing on the agenda is I'm going to get a different intake setup, because obviously this is just sucking in hot air from the exhaust down there. I don't really know what else besides turbo. My buddy Kelvin from New Zealand, he's on Cartoon NZ is his YouTube channel. He's building me a fully custom engine harness so I can run Haltech 2500 Elite setup. That's going to get rid of all of my distributors, my spark plug wires, igniters, and a few other sensors. I'm gonna run his 2-pin idle air control valve setup, NOx sensors that he prefers, just a bunch of things. I'm swapping over to the Audi R8 coil on plug setup too, so that's gonna make this thing just rip. But we're waiting on that harness, and then once that arrives, we can start ordering all the Haltech stuff, because I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna need yet. And if it's late enough in the year where I'm out of town, I think I'm just gonna start ordering turbo stuff too. But we'll get to that. I did use an excessive racing clutch pedal kit for this. I have the transmission with the internal throw-up wiring, which I can't say that I prefer or not. I haven't drove the other one or tried it out. But yeah, that's the engine on this thing. Everything, instead of being poorly JB welded shut or plugged, I had my buddy Corey Ellis, look him up, Corey Ellis BMX. He runs his own machining shop in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, CNC machining, welding, anything like that, any of your needs, he can handle that. Hit him up. Super knowledgeable on car stuff, turbos, intake piping, roll cages, anything he can build. He's a really good fabricator. Yeah, being fully gutted, I do have Corbio racing seats. I need to get roll cage built in here with a harness bar. So right now I'm just bolting them right to the OEM rear seat mount or rear seat bolt mounts. Probably frowned upon, but it's safer than not having seat belts. I did do the fuel pump ECU mod right there, so it's constantly getting full 12 volts of fuel. I mean, I fully gutted this car. It doesn't have radio or anything like that, so it's just a rowdy car to have fun in. I did for exhaust, because I just wanted to be able to drive this thing a little bit. When I swapped everything over, it's literally just two 10-inch straight pipes coming from the exhaust manifold flanges. Buddy Skid Billy, Brett from Newego, old LFDF skull sticker. We got the two, I can't pronounce that, Subaru Street Society. It's my buddies Alex and Jake from Newego as well. I don't know, this thing's pretty cool. It's obviously completely neglected right now, covered in mud from the skid pad. But usually the skid pad opens up a little bit bigger and we can actually do a little bit of runs, which we'll get there this summer, I bet, with one of the cars. Battery relocation behind the seat. Yeah, I can't say anything this would any of this would really pass tech inspection, but I mean, I think I'd rather prefer sliding elsewhere, but to learn properly and everything safely accordingly, it probably would be nice to get some seat time on the track, which I know that Drift Indy Street League, Derek King has a pretty cool schooling out there. Maybe I can hit that a few times next year. But, so here's my SC400. I've had this thing for about probably 3 years now, but this is the car that got me into the 1UZs. Oh, this thing is just lovely. I always go to get in this car and then, oh, I'm just driving it from here to here. Just take it easy, Rob. You know, don't go and do anything crazy. And I fire it up and it's just time to get rowdy. So, got the battery charged up, start it up, give you guys a little sound of the rip here. Of course, the famous Lexus key breakage deal here. Always the key fob breaks off and then you're stuck with this. And then you have to try not to lose it. I thought about just welding a washer to it, but what if it melts the key and then I'm just screwed, you know? That'd suck. I'm sure Lexus costs quite a bit of money to get these redone. You know, and like I said, I stripped the engine harness that's in there right now all the way down when I manual swapped it, so it's none of the gauge cluster really works. Even the fuel gauge, nothing. I wouldn't trust any of this on the fuel gauge. So we're gonna do the Hall Tech swap, and then we're also gonna get the digital gauge cluster too, and I'm gonna make a custom little mount there for that. But let's fire this thing up. Is it in neutral? One more time. Okay. Fire this thing up. Yeah, see, nothing works. I wouldn't trust any of it. Well, if you never heard of 1UZ straight piped, she gets down. Especially for being not started, especially for not being started in like almost a year now. Looks like my exhaust hanger broke. I'll give it some revs, see if we get some fire. said, she's just a beater. She takes it. So it's my drift car. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Need some more, stick around, subscribe, because this car is gonna be wicked. And it's the first build that got us all interested in these Lexuses, all the 1UZs, the LS400s, the SC400s. So Aiden's car, the black car, this gold LS400 you just saw me get for Aiden. Oh, this gold car. So LFDF TV. Yo.